Yeah, let's start off. Just kind of say, you know, your name and who you play with. And
Sure. My name's JonathanHamby, and I've been touring with Carrie Underwood for the past few tours, and Nashville-based, and do a lot of different kinds of music, but that's what I've been doing recently. So.
cool. So you've been a CP user for many years now, the CP300, CP5.
Mm-hmm.
And so what is it about the CP series that makes it your go-to stage piano?
To me, it's just, it feels the best. It responds the most like a real piano. It sounds the most, I get the closest kind of playing experience to having a real piano. And that's important, you know, because most of what I do musically on the tour I've been on it's kind of piano driven, so that's important.
So how does the new CP line compare to what you're used to in the 300 and the CP5?
Well, this one, the first thing I notice right away is the sounds are categorized according to what kind of instrument it's doing, so that's immediately helpful. And I see that this has, instead of knobs, it's more slider based, which is helpful because my keyboard goes in and out of a road case like every night. It goes in a coffin, and it's always, you know, catching edges. It's just part of it. So this I can tell probably be a little better suited to being transported every day. So, and looks like the display is a little bigger and maybe a little easier to read on a stage. A lot of times you're dealing with lighting that goes from fully lit to completely dark in a matter of seconds. So having things that you can see quickly is important. So the keyboard feels a little different, but I like it. It feels a little more springy, for lack of a better word, compared to the CP5, and I like that. Yeah, so far it's really cool.
So the first impression is good.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. When can I get one?
So you guys have had a pretty extensive tour recently. So
Yeah.
how has that been? Everything still going well? Same bandmates?
It's been mostly the same personnel for the past several tours, which has been great. It's been a good tour. It's been a long tour. We just did about 105 shows in the past 8-9 months. So it's been busy, but it's been a good tour.
Great.
So.
And then so back to the keyboard with the new CFX sample. Just kind of first impressions on that. I know it's very new and you hadn't had a ton of time to play around with it, but
well, it sounds fantastic. It sounds like a big grand piano. It doesn't sound like a studio or a baby grand or a conservatory. It's got a big sound, and just playing through the different registers, each register sounds great, like they've really sampled the sound as it changes across the keyboard, and captured that. And I love how the sounds seem to resonate when you, I was just noticing when you play with the sustain pedal down, the notes as you play them interact and kind of create this, I don't know, resonance that is really nice to hear, because it's what a real piano does. It sounds different when the sustain pedal's down, so that's cool. I like that too.
yeah.
So, yeah, I'm looking forward to checking it out more.
And then this one is slightly smaller than the CP5. It's not quite as deep, a little bit lighter. Does that change anything for you as far as portability? I mean, it's different for sure.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I really liked about the CP5 is compared to the older pianos, it is lighter, and this one looks like it's taken the next step, which, you know, for days when you're carrying your gear around, that's great. It makes your job easier because you can, it becomes like a one-person job instead of a two-person job, you know. I noticed it has the XLR outputs on the back, which is great because it is handy. Half the time you get to a situation and there may or may not be enough DIs, so this looks like it goes straight into a PA system, and the outputs are balanced, which means you can hopefully get around, you know, some of the ground loops and things that always seem to be an issue in a live situation. So it's cool.
Yeah, and then I mean, one of the last things, anything that you found that don't, you know, that you might change, or you might think, oh, I think this might be a better way or a better direction, because it's very, especially with the interface, you know, it's so much different than the CP line. It's,
what would I change about this?
Or if there's anything you notice. If not, that's good. But
not right away. It looks like it's easy to layer sounds. You just press the two buttons that you want to layer, and you've got the layer right away, and then the volumes are right there on the sliders. The same thing with a split. Looks like it's super easy to do. So I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm sure I could find something if I use it long enough. But
sure. So what is your current setup then for when you're touring around with Carrie? I know you've been a motif user as well, and a Hammond organ.
It's those two things mainly. I have a CP that I use for piano, and then I have a motif XF, which I use for kind of auxiliary sounds to kind of augment whatever I'm doing on the piano. But it's really mostly about piano and organ. That's just kind of where the format's at right now, sure. Sound wise. So I use the motif a ton, especially on other gigs or in the studio. It's great, especially the XF with the flash memory. You can just, whatever the sound is you need, you put it on there and it's ready to go. It's great.
Cool.
Yeah.
So then, you think when this one comes out in October, will this get integrated pretty quickly into the new rig, or is there a transitional period? Or?
Well, for piano, it's pretty simple to integrate it because there's not a lot of programming that needs to go on, so it'll be pretty easy to swap it out. And I mean, from what I can see, I'd probably happen pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then with the EQ section the way it is, I know on the other one they have it as the dials. Do you have a preference? I mean, is the fader a nicer touch, a little quicker access, or
well,
even visual? Is it better visually to?
It's better in a lot of ways. Yes, you can look at it and immediately see where the slider is, and there have been numerous times when you sit down to play the show and you realize maybe halfway through your first song, oh, the low EQ is just maxed out, or it's gone, or the high end, the same thing. Just because of the way the knobs work, you know, you just have to keep an eye on it, and it's not easy to see, especially in different lighting situations, how it's configured. So that's really, looks like it'll be a good thing. Honestly, on my CP5, I don't have, most of the knobs are gone, just because they've either gotten knocked off or whatever's happened to them. So this will definitely be handy, the sliders, for sure. Yeah. And they're not, the EQs they're not programmed per sound, I don't think. So whatever the setting is, it's always going to be you know, active. So it's helpful to have that, you know, a visual feedback for sure. Yeah.
Cool.
Hey, I'm JonathanHamby, and I play Yamaha, and I can't wait to get my hands on the new CP4 as soon as it comes out.
That's perfect.
Yeah.